The very last Concorde flight set off. For anyone who doesn't know what one of those is, it's the plane that halved your journey time by flight. Ronaldo made his Manchester United debut with them stupid little blonde curls against Bolton. What do them two things have in common for a video like this? Those two were just a couple of the things that happened the last year the Champions League music was played out at St James's Park on a Wednesday night. It's over 20 years since us Newcastle fans have got to experience what 50,000 of us will, and so many more watching at home, as PSG arrive in town to allow us to play Europeans Elite on the top stage. It's a crazy situation that I'm even able to do this video, but the PSG match preview's coming up, Newcastle fans. So do me a favour and make sure you stick around. Yeah, that's right. Champions League nights in Newcastle upon Tyne are back. And this is the match preview. Newcastle fans, welcome back to Black and White Banter. I hope you're having a fantastic week. If you're anything like me, you've basically got 2 or 3 butterflies in your stomach right now that are having a fist fight. That is what's going on as I'm making this video, as I'm taking it in, as I'm talking about it, as I'm thinking about what's to come at St James's Park on Wednesday. Anyone who says it's just a game does not have a Scooby-Doo about how much this football club means to us Newcastle fans. So I hope you're having a good week. If you are new to Black and White Banter, drop down and give us a little likey. Lou, whack that subscribe, because of course there will be a match vlog coming. I'm not going to get too much footage inside the stadium unless the mood really strikes, because I want to absorb every single second. But I'll hopefully get in and around the PSG fans in the city, which is something I'm really looking forward to seeing, as well as the game, is that unique atmosphere as the police escort them up to the ground. Of course, fan interviews afterwards, depending on what the score is, to get their reactions to what will be an incredible night either way. So if you're curious about that, whack that subscribe button. So here we go. It's arrived. Yes, for some of us who were lucky enough to get over to AC Milan, we've already experienced the Champions League night. But nothing hits different to the first home game in this competition. I looked for it first before away games. Yes, I had to book my flights, but I still wanted to know when I'd be able to see hear that music booming out in a packed St James's Park. And obviously War Flags, they're going to have a trick or two up their sleeve as well. So it's Paris Saint-Germain, some of the world's best players coming to St James's Park. There's one in particular that I'm sure a lot of Newcastle fans might be excited to see. But this is a night to take in, to savour, to absorb, to be loud, to be proud, and just enjoy every second of it, because these sorts of nights are not guaranteed. You know, yes, we hope to see much more Champions League football in years to come, but in the competitive league that is the Premier League, there is no guarantee that we will qualify for it this season. There is no guarantee we will qualify for it next season. So let's really, yes, give it a go, but take it in, because there are so many Newcastle fans in that 20 years since we last saw this kind of football under Sir Bobby who don't even know what this is. They are sick of the stories of that Tino Asprilla hat-trick. And yes, I thought this Newcastle top for this match preview was the most relevant, because this lovely brown ale shirt that is my pride and joy is only associated, in my opinion, mainly to one night, and that was Asprilla doing it once, twice, 3 times. And there are so many people, including myself, because I was only 6 years old at the time, who were bored of hearing the stories. And then you look a little bit further down the line, Bellamy's last minute winner at Feyenoord to get us through the group stages, Andy Griffin's winner against Juventus when we had to wear our away shirts at St James's Park because Juventus brought their black and white stripes. All nights we still talk about, all iconic with this football club, and we are about to make history on Wednesday and open up that new European chapter. But how can we beat them? This is a football match. Yes, it's an emotional night. Yes, it's a historic night, but there is a football match, and we are not just showing up in these games to prop up the Champions League group tables. So let's just get straight into that. Let's dive straight in. First and foremost for me, the atmosphere. Lots of Newcastle fans, yes, are excited to see what War Flags have got up the sleeve. It looks like a flag per seat. It'll be incredible. It'll get the hairs on the back of your neck. But do I think, and this might be controversial from some quarters, do I think the atmosphere is going to affect PSG? My answer's no to that. And the reason I say that is, through gritted teeth, is because some of these players, we have to get used to now playing teams who have played in some of the most hostile, the biggest environments, the most intense games with the most riding on it in world football. Like, look at Mbappe, the pin-up boy for their club. He has literally played in a World Cup final with mental Argentinians. And Argentinians are mental. I'm sure Mr. Colaccini and Spider-Man Gutierrez will testify to that. Barking down his neck in a World Cup final. He's got through that with flying colours, although he never got the trophy at the end of it. They've played in the hostile environments, the flag displays, the chants, the fans jumping up and down for 90 minutes. Yes, Newcastle's unique. Yes, we're more aggressive maybe than the average country for football matches. The flag display will be great. But where I think the atmosphere is more important is what it does to our players, which will then affect their players. And what I mean by that is, what we saw against Man City in the Carabao Cup was a second half where we cheered every slide tackle. We literally pushed them on every chase down of the ball. We were screaming at them like we'd scored a goal. And what that adds, as we saw with Anthony Gordon in that little clip that was shared of him chasing down Kovacic, it really gives our players an extra 5% to maybe run for that ball that they might not, for Trippier to maybe make that last-ditch slide tackle, for Almiron to chase that full-back a little bit harder. That's what it brings to us, and that in turn makes it a more difficult game for the opposition. So yes, the atmosphere is going to be rocking. I don't think it's directly going to affect the players that we're playing against, but I do think it will have such an important influence on our team. So if you go into the game, be so loud that you have to call into sick work the next day, into work sick the next day, get that the right way around. The East Stand, for example, I know that's not a loud part of the stadium. I know it's not. That's fine. Some people like to just sit and enjoy the match. But let's make Wednesday different. Let's really absorb what War Flags have put the effort in to do and carry that on throughout the 90 minutes and carry the players through the 90 minutes. So atmosphere is my first point. Second one, counter-attack. Counter-attack is going to be so important on Wednesday if we are going to score goals. There is a very high chance that PSG will play a 2-3-5 formation. Their fullbacks are so attacking that they support the front three, and that leaves them susceptible in moments to a counter-attack where we could even be looking in a 4-on-2 situation with our front three and one central attacking midfielder driving us forward. The transitions between our defence to midfield to attack could be so important when we win the ball back. We need to be fast. Trippier needs to release the ball quickly. Shah and what will probably be Lascelles and Byrne, they need to release the ball quickly to their fullbacks. Midfield needs to spread the ball. Bruno's role on Wednesday will be so important in that pass, that pivot into our Isaacs, our Gordons and our Almirons, if that's who starts on the right-hand side. It'll be crucial. And we can literally break forward in numbers if we choose our moments correctly and take advantage of the fact that PSG are an incredibly attacking side. So that's one thing to look out for. It's going to be very, very crucial that we play the game right. PSG are a possession team. We like to have lots of the ball. We like to play with intensity. But if you look at PSG's average possession across this season, you look at it about 70%. Against Dortmund in their first Champions League game against good opposition, they had 69%. They will spread the ball around, and we might see a common pattern of play across all of our Champions League matches at St James's, where, very similar to the first half against Man City, which was frustrating, we have to just sit back, we have to stay organised, we have to stay disciplined. We switch off in one moment, they take advantage of that. So we might have to accept that they're going to have the ball, and that's where that counter-attack becomes more important. Can Bruno play between the lines quickly? Can Gordon utilise the space that Hakimi will leave on that right-hand side? And I'll talk about that more in a second. But counter-attack is key. Wide positions on the back of Gordon. Now, PSG have some of the best fullbacks in world football. Your Hakimis, your Hernandezes, fantastic players. But with that formation they play in mind, there's a big emphasis here with PSG that they like to do the full part, they don't like to do the back part of their job title. They will get forward at every opportunity, and if Gordon, in particular Gordon, who is on fire in the Premier League at the moment, no one wants to play against Anthony Gordon. If he can utilise the ball and we can get it out to him enough, he can scare Hakimi even into going forward less, so they've got one less option going forward. But we can exploit little gaps of space, and I really hope that happens. I hope Gordon fires on all cylinders, and I hope the occasion doesn't get enough for him, and I speak for every player when I say that. But wide areas, whether he goes with Almira on the right, whether he goes with Murphy, Those are looking like his two real options for that right-hand side spot. It's going to be crucial. It really, really is, because their fullbacks will be getting forward at every opportunity. It's just the way they're programmed, but it's also important to Luis Enrique's system. So wide areas for me are going to be crucial in this match. Next up, I can't do this video without talking about one of the best players in world football coming to St James's Park. There's going to be so many youngsters in the stands with parents and whatnot who are more excited to see Mbappe in the Newcastle upon Tyne area than what they actually are to see their own team. And that's fine, I get it. It's like a prime Ronaldo or Messi coming to St James's. If Messi came to St James's, I would probably feel a little bit the same. He's one player I've never been able to tick off seeing live. So how do we deal with him? Well, a lot of people think because Neymar's adopted... Neymar? God, he's long gone. Because Mbappe has adopted the left-hand side in most games PSG from the start that they've played, a lot of people think it's going to be him against Trippier. For me, I think Luis Enrique will look at this team and they'll be like, right, let's mix it up Mbappe in. I would not be surprised if he adopts both flanks, because Dan Burn, he probably fancies his chance up against, it's that old Dan Burn against Mbappe. What a mental combination. It is, of course it is. It's crazy stuff, but I think he will float around and he's just as effective on both sides. He's that much of a good player. He's got power, pace, skill. His shooting accuracy is fantastic. He's an athlete. His agility's great. And how do you stop him? I'm not going to say that on this video. I'm not going to say you do this, you do that. First and foremost, let him know early on there's a game going on. I'm not saying without the laws of the game. We want no silly early yellow cards, but put a good tackle on him. Get hard on him. But also with that, when he's running with the ball, Trippier and Burn have got to be so smart, and Trippier is one of the most experienced players to do that. Usher him. Play him down the line. Don't jump in for any daft tackles, because that's where he will have us and we will give away silly free kicks or he will be through. I think you need a bit of luck against a player like him. We need to isolate the supply from midfield so he doesn't get the ball as much as he would like. But also, you need a slice of luck, and you just need to be so sharp and disciplined in everything you do. Switch off for a second and bang, Mbappe has passed you. It's going to be a real challenge for our squad and our defence, especially our slightly makeshift defence, to get over the line against a player of his quality. But who knows? But do not be surprised to see him on the left and on the right. He won't just be playing a very strict role down that left-hand side. I'd be gobsmacked, I really, really would, because Trippier is the better of the two full-backs at playing, and he's got experience in these big matches. And finally, from me, I think it's fair to say, yes, we've got injuries, of course we do. That defence without Botman is not ideal. Callum Wilson's not going to be fit for this one. That's a huge loss, because depending on how the game goes, he can hold the ball up and offer us something so different to Isaac. But what I'm seeing from this group of players is the momentum I talked about on my last video, a solidarity, and I just hope the occasion doesn't get too much for some of these. Who will Eddie Howe pick? What team do I want? I think Lascelles picks himself as the centre-back partnership in place of Botman. Dan Burn will probably play left-back, let's face it. He's not going to go with Lewis Hall for a game like this. The midfield three, do you go Joe Linton or do you go Anderson? If Joe Linton, apparently he's touch and go. If he's not fully fit, as we saw in the match at Brighton, in my opinion, he wasn't on fire on all cylinders. Keep Elliot Anderson in. That Geordie will run himself into the ground to put in a shift in this game. For me, yes, Tonali's got Champions League experience. Is the game suited for him? I think it is. But is the game suited for him and Bruno to play together? I'm not so sure. I am still not so sure on that. That gives me a little bit of anxiety. Gordon picks himself. Isaac picks himself. He will go with Almiron, let's face it. Jacob Murphy's only had one start more recently in the Cup against Man City. He hasn't played much football. I do like the guy, but Almiron, he can offer a finish like what we saw on Saturday, and that could come in crucial where we get maybe limited opportunities. Who knows? What am I calling on this game? Oh, God, what a question. What a question. PSG at home. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. The atmosphere will be rocking. The players will feel that. I think we'll throw every tackle in. Bruno will have the fire in his belly again. Isaac's always got fire in his belly. The makeshift defence is going to make this difficult. Mbappe is going to make this difficult. But isolate the supply from midfield to that front three. Take advantage of their attacking nature as they go forward and how they play. And we could be looking at a lot of chances in this game. And I think we are the surprise package of pot 4. And I think Luis Enrique knows it. And let's show the Champions League. We are not just here to prop up the group. We are here to really do some damage. Let's set the precedent for the rest of the teams coming to St James's Park. It's going to be a unique marvellous, crazy roller coaster of a game. I've got no doubts about it. From the moment I get on the metro to the moment I come out of the stadium, let's enjoy every moment, Newcastle fans. Let's give them a right game and let's do ourselves proud. They're doing us proud, every single one of them players, before they've even walked out the tunnel. But let's go one step further against some of Europeans' elite. What a pleasure it is to be able to make a match preview for a Champions League game at home at St James's. It's a dream come true for me. Wherever you're watching, whether you're watching from Australia, New Zealand, China, whether you're going to the match tonight and already in the pub right now, enjoy it. Enjoy every moment. We don't know when these are coming along. And Howie Eddie Howe's Champions League mags. If you've liked this preview, whack that subscribe button for that vlog to come. Give us a little like, and let's hope 24 hours from now we are toasting one of the most iconic nights in our history. You wouldn't put it past this group of players, would you? How are the lads?